Welcome. Today we are going to discuss Gandhiji's struggle against untouchability. Let me begin with Gandhiji's own writing. Gandhiji said, I quote, "In my opinion, untouchability is a blot on humanity and therefore Hinduism. It cannot stand the test of reason. Untouchability contradicts the basic principles of Hinduism." Now, it is interesting to understand the two terms humanism and Hinduism. There are a number of interpretations about Hinduism. Here, our focus is on how Gandhi viewed Hinduism and how he believed that untouchability is not based on any region and religion, because this contradicts the basic principle of humanism. He was a great humanist, and in his view, Hinduism believes in the core values of human welfare. So, a religion which is based on the core values of human well-being and human welfare, that cannot allow the discrimination between one person and other on the basis of caste or any other social identity. We will, in the course of this lecture, try to understand how Gandhiji's idea about caste developed, how after coming back from South Africa in the course of his movement against the British rule, parallelly he also wanted to bring social reform, its participation in movement against untouchability, and finally we will see that how people reacted. There were supporters of Gandhiji and there were also critics of Gandhiji's movement against untouchability, temple entry movement for all. You all know that when Gandhiji was leading a movement in South Africa of the indentured Indians against racial discrimination, he stood for equality and against any form of discrimination in the name of religion, nation, language. So, this long struggle and his successful movement in South Africa made him more convinced about the philosophy of satyagraha and nonviolent way to enlighten people about the evils in society. When he came back from South Africa and established the Gandhi ashram in Ahmedabad, an untouchable family wanted to be a member of the ashrama and live in the Gandhi ashram. Gandhiji welcomed the untouchable family in spite of the opposition from many of his close followers. This belief of Gandhi against the social discrimination has its root in his early childhood. It is written in his biography and in his own writings. There was a person in the name of Uka who used to clean the toilets in Gandhiji's home, and Gandhiji was told not to touch Uka. Although as a disciplined child, he obeyed his mother's instruction, but he says that he does not believe by touching the person who helps in cleaning the toilet, he will lose his social dignity or religion. So, from his childhood, he had a conviction which further strengthened in his movement in South Africa, and when he came back, he tried to delve on this issue that why in the name of caste there are people who are denied of political, religious, social and economic freedom. He wanted to make this an issue in the course of his parallel to his political movement, that how he can reform the society and make them understand the value of dignity of labor and equality in society. First such opportunity we find in the course of his movement in 1925. There was a movement in Kerala for allowing the untouchables to the road adjacent to the Guruvayur temple. There was protest against this demand. Gandhiji supported the people who were fighting for the entry of the untouchables to the road leading to the temple. And when the orthodox Hindus raised voice against Gandhi's support to the movement, Gandhiji argued with them, and in his own Satyagrahi way, he tried to convince that the basic philosophy of Hinduism does not subscribe that there would be discrimination in the name of caste. We are all equal and we should treat them with dignity as per whatever professions they might be pursuing and following. So they have the equal right to enter the temple and also go across the road adjacent to the temple. This Satyagraha is known as the Vaikam Satyagraha, launched in 1925. You all know that Gandhi was at the forefront of the Indian national movement. This was the time when the Simon Commission came to India, and there was protest against the Simon Commission because of his discriminatory approach towards the political rights of Indians. In the backdrop of this, the Roundtable Conference was convened in London and Gandhi was invited, but Gandhi declined to attend. But after all, a pact was signed between Gandhi and Arvind, which is known as Gandhi-Arvind Pact. A compromise was made and Gandhi attended the second Roundtable Conference. In the same conference, as the representatives of the untouchables, who are also called as the depressed classes, Dr. Ambedkar also attended. And Gandhiji argued with Dr. Ambedkar that how his concern is for all without any discrimination, and he represents all Indians irrespective of caste and religion. Somehow, this conference was not up to the expectation of the nationalist leadership, and the civil disobedience movement again was relaunched, and the government, British government, they wanted to bring a new legislation giving the separate representation to the depressed classes, which Dr. B.R. Ambedkar supported. Gandhi opposed this. Gandhi said that this will be detrimental to the interest of all Indians. There cannot be separate electorate. We will all have one electorate, the joint electorate. Gandhi went on fasting. All the nationalist leaders and leaders across the different regions appealed to Gandhi that you break your silence, you break the fast. And because of this national response, B.R. Ambedkar ultimately came to Gandhi. There was negotiation and the Pune Pact was signed accepting the joint electorate system, wherein the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe will be having the reserved constituencies in the assembly and parliamentary election. Although there are criticisms, this is a different story. After signing this pact, Gandhi ended his fast, but Gandhi made a resolution that from now onwards he will make an all India campaign drawing the attention of the people against this social discrimination and the need to abolish this social discrimination. He started the Harijan Sevak Sangh and also a magazine, journal in the name of Harijan. And for the first time, he coined a word, Harijan, instead of untouchable. Harijan means the God's children. So this determination of Gandhi led him to start a campaign from November 1932 to the 1933. In about 9 months, Gandhi travelled most of the provinces in India, propagating the evils of untouchability and making an appeal to the Hindu upper caste that the need of unity within the Hindu community. He was not against caste system, he was not against Hinduism, but he was against the evils and discrimination in the name of religion and Hinduism. So he fought with all and argued with all to make them convinced the futility of adhering to the caste system. His fight was against the caste system, but people did not accept it. Even when he was about to address a gathering in Pune, there was an attempt to physically harm Gandhi. But Gandhi, with his firmness and boldness, he made an appeal, harming me, you will not be able to win anything, but abolishing untouchability, you will be win the hearts of millions of people who are denied of different privileges of the society in the name of caste hierarchy. Now, in this context, it is very interesting to know that one of Gandhi's friend who was working with Gandhi, C.F. Andrews, he accused Gandhi that you are not giving the importance to the agenda of political freedom, the movement against the British rule, but you are focusing on the abolition of untouchability. Gandhi replied that my aim is to get political freedom and along with it also the social freedom for the millions of people who are being denied of their freedom. Similarly, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was not supportive of Gandhi's way of fighting against the untouchability in his view that Hinduism itself is the main reason for the social discrimination. But here Gandhi differed with B.R. Ambedkar. He said that I believe the reform is needed within, and only then the people would understand that Hinduism is not against any social discrimination. Hinduism does not support social discrimination. The philosophy of Hinduism never supports the discrimination in the name of caste. He was in support of Varna system and his views over the years changed, and more it was becoming, in the end he was convinced that caste is the reason for the social disharmony in the society, but he had a difference with the Orthodox and Sanatani Hindus on this point, but he strongly believed that being a believer in religion does not mean you have to follow the social discrimination or the practice of untouchability. So, Gandhi was a reformist, Gandhi was also a revolutionary, but he did not want to abolish the caste system in a way Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and others were advocating for. He wanted to unite all within the umbrella of Hinduism, and he tried to convince and argue by citing the religious references, by citing the examples and the philosophy of Hinduism, that by any region, any rationalism, practicing Hinduism does not mean that you have to practice social discrimination. Here lies the broadness of Gandhi. He wanted to bring all together without antagonizing one section against the other. And we have to keep in mind that this was the time when the entire nation was fighting for the political freedom. Political freedom to many was the primary goal, but to Gandhi, political freedom was as essential as the liberation of people who are being discriminated over the years in the name of caste system. So many may differ with Gandhi, but Gandhi had that conviction that caste is the core region of the social disharmony and exploitation of the millions of people who have been pushed to the margin of society in the name of caste. But his way was different and unique. One may say that in spite of all this effort, as on today, we still feel the discrimination in the name of caste, but all efforts can only be made to make the people realize that no religion supports the distinctions in the name of caste or based on your occupation. Gandhiji tried to reason with the people. Gandhiji tried to practice in his own life and propagate this philosophy against the untouchability. He might not have succeeded in eradicating the caste system in the country, but he believed that the change of heart of the upper caste is needed to invite the all who are being denied and deprived in the name of untouchability, in the name of caste system, and then only the change in the society will come. So this philosophy of Gandhi and his basic concern for human values and human welfare need to be appreciated and understood. Then only we will be able to succeed in eradicating the evils in the name of caste rigidity which is being practiced in the country. It was there, and still today we are facing this problem, but the way was shown by Gandhi that without creating any conflict, without creating any disharmony within the society, how we should treat all as equal and our own brothers. Then only the society would be able to respect equality. Then only the society would be able to value the human quality. Humanism has different aspects. Gandhi was not a radical humanist. Gandhi was a humanist in his way of interpreting humanism through the prism of Hindu religion. To him, religion purifies the mind. To him, religion does not block your mind, close your mind to the goodness of human life. If this is acceptable to all, then only we would be able to appreciate the role of Gandhi and how relentlessly, particularly from 1920s to the end of his life, over the years, he stood very firm against the practice of caste system and advocating strongly for eradication of untouchability, valuing the services rendered by different section of society based on their ability. Whatever service one is doing for the society needs to be respected, rather than that should be stigmatized in the name of caste division. This was the appeal of Gandhi. We have to learn these human values. We have to rationally think about these prejudices which are being practiced in the name of caste, and we have to accept the Gandhian philosophy of removing these social prejudices and accepting all as equal. Thank you.